Hello, everyone. Oh, this is wonderful. Oh, Caroline. So, I'm so pleased that you agreed to do this. Thank you so much. And for everyone watching, this is a very special session. I'm going to have my pen and paper at the ready because Caroline is all going to make us feel so much better. And it's going to change, it's going to help us change our lives, not only our business lives, but our personal lives as well. If you read about Caroline, she gets referred to as magic by her clients because she's literally turned things around. She is going to talk us through how to master these mind blocks that we might have to make, let's say, an extraordinary future possible. And given that we're about to come out of lockdown, given that we're about to get back to work, we all really wanted to have a bit of positivity to take us through to the end of lockdown and to really get 2021 to be not a cross on our on our history, but actually a blip, and we can actually start achieving some real stuff. So thank you, Caroline. I'm going to let you take it from here.
Oh, thank you so much, Emily. What an introduction. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. For me, the energy of today is about empowering you all as you move forwards. I appreciate that it's been quite a year for all of you. And for me, this is about empowering you with the tools to be able to step forwards with certainty and on the right foundations. And I always believe that there's great opportunities that come with adversity, and it doesn't always feel like it when we're in it. But what I want to do today is use this as an opportunity to get you to think about yourselves and think about your business differently. So before we start, I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes telling you a little bit about my story so that you can get a bit of a sense about how I've applied this to my own life. So I came out of the corporate world where I worked for about 14 years. I was feeling like a lot of us do with, I think, young children, frenetic, frazzled, worn out, and completely disconnected from soul. And I went on to create a business which was helping people and entrepreneurs to connect back to their inner power, connect back to soul, and to create the business and life that they want to. And I've gone on to see this transform the lives of thousands of people. And I myself have built a very successful multiple six-figure business. And today I want to share a little bit with you about what you can do to master mind blocks. So what do I mean about mind blocks? Whether we realize it or not, every single one of you is operating from a belief system about what you think you're capable of, how you believe the world to work, and how you believe things to be true for you. We all have stories that we tell ourselves. And the incredible thing is the stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves and our business become what we see in our reality. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to use this as an opportunity to take stock. And I want you to, hopefully you've got a pen and paper to hand, and I want you to start feeling and thinking about these questions that are coming through for you all. So what are you telling yourself in terms of a story about the way 2021 is going to be for you? What are you telling yourself in terms of a story about what's possible for you this year? Are you caught up in the energy of believing that you'll have just enough to scrape by, that you'll have to settle? Can everyone hear me? I'm just going to double check that, because I know somebody's having a problem hearing me. Sophie, can you hear me okay? Looks like we can. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to carry on to give you the nod if anyone else can't hear me. So I want you to think about where you are settling. Where are you compromising with yourself about the way that you think this year could be? You've had a lot of triggers this year in terms of the opportunity to bring in income. You've had a lot of triggers for you in terms of having to give away your power, in terms of restrictions, in terms of the way you can and can't work. And all of that takes a toll on us. And all of that can leave an imprint in us that certain things are now not possible for you, or there's certain things that you should fear in terms of moving forwards. I really want you to take this opportunity to realize today that the stories that you're going to tell yourself about the year ahead and the opportunities are going to be absolutely pivotal. So the first thing that we do before we start anywhere is we bring fear towards us. So every one of us has the negative narrative. It has that voice of fear, the voice of the ego that's constantly worried about risk. It's critiquing. It might be telling us to play it small. It might be feeding us with all these fear-based stories about things that can happen. What if nobody now wants my services? What if there's someone better than me? What if there's a competitor that people are going to go to? What if I'm not as good as I think I am? What if people don't want to invest their money there? What if people don't have money to spend because they haven't been working? There's all of these stories that will be coming up for all of you. I want you to bring and welcome those stories towards you. I want you to let fear and ego give you their best shot. Because when we allow ego and that negative voice and those negative stories to step forwards to us, and to say all the things that we know are bubbling under the surface, it kind of dilutes their power. So every one of you, as homework, for want of a better word, I want you to allow fear to write to you. So, dear Caroline, you've had such a hard year. What makes you think that 2021 is going to be better? What if it's not? What are you going to do about this? What about money? It's so hard. What about all these competitors? Anything that you feel needs to come through, I want you to allow fear to write to you. And it's almost the energy of, you know, give me your best shot. Like, what else have you got? And it might start bringing stuff up about your past or your childhood, or that one time a client said something about you, or a story where somebody's done better than you and you've taken it personally and thought it's something about you. I want you to use this as an opportunity to allow it all to come up, because every single one of you has been holding on to the energy of fear over the last year, which is completely understandable. So you let it come to you, let it have its best shot. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to take a breath and I want you to ground yourself, and I want you to allow that part of you, whether you want to call it soul, you want to call it spirit, you want to call it gut instinct, you want to call it truth, you want to call it optimism, I want you to allow her to write back to you and speak to you about the way that you want it to be, about the unlimited potential that this year holds, about how good it can get, how expansive it can get, how much opportunity there is, how you're connected to unlimited ideas, how you're committed to innovation and service. And I want you to allow that to come through. And then what I want you to do is you're going to be faced with the opportunity, the click that's going to happen for all of you, where you can choose and keep and buy into that fear-based state of thinking, that fear-based letter, or you can pick the letter from love and from truth and from optimism and into expansion. And this is where it becomes a game changer. You use your power of choice to say, I choose trust, I choose faith, I choose hope, I choose that I only get to grow from here. And despite that voice, that ego, that resistance, that critical part of me that says differently, I'm still going to choose it. And that's going to be really helpful in just aligning all your energies as you move forwards. The next thing that I want you to do is I want you to really lock in today that your business can never outperform your mindset. And I've seen this in my business, and I have seen it in countless clients' business. You are going to receive and create in your business what you believe is possible. So this is where we write a new story. This is where we lock in beliefs for our mindset, for our energy and emotions about what we believe is possible, what we choose to believe is possible. And what I want you to do is just take 10 statements beginning with I am. Positive affirmations that are going to go in every single day. I am always innovative. I'm of great service. I am a magnet for clients. My wealth grows day by day. I am opening to more and more opportunities. And I want you to have a list of affirmations there that I want you to practice on a daily basis. Reading, you can have them on your phone, you can have them pop up as like a reminder, you can have them as a screensaver. But what this is going to do is it's going to work on your subconscious part of your brain. And the incredible thing about the subconscious part of our brain, it's responsible for about 95% of what we attract. If we program it with the belief that anything is possible, if we program it with the belief that opportunities are going to flow to us, that's what we start looking for, that's what we start attracting, and that's what we start seeing. So I really, really want you to lock that in. One of the things that we don't realize because we've never been taught it is that we are innately incredibly powerful as human beings in our ability to create the world that we want to live in, to create the business that we want. But it starts with you. And there's an opportunity to come off this call today and say, well, it feels too hard, it feels too difficult, like I've been so caught up in the fear. But there's also the opportunity to say, but what if I owned it? And what if Caroline's right? And what if the way that I think and what I believe to be true can change everything? Because it can. And that's what I want you to gift yourself with today. I want you to take your power back. And I want you to realize that you can create anything, but it has to start with the way that you're thinking. It has to start with the way that you're showing up for yourself. It has to start with you opening up your energy to the fact anything's possible. It's quite incredible in terms of what can come through when we operate from that place. So that's one of the things that I really, really want you to work on. And another thing is I want you to look at your money blocks. And this is such a big thing when we're business owners. I want you to look at your blocks and resistance and stories that you have about money. So I'm going to give you a few recommendations for reading. Jen Sincero, I'm going to put it in the chat box actually. Jen Sincero, You Are a Badass with Money is a brilliant book. I really recommend reading that. And I want you to read that and do everything that she says in it. It's an absolutely brilliant book about explaining the concepts and the energy and some of the theories around money consciousness really, really clearly. But this is going to be a big thing for a lot of you, is a lot of money triggers will have come up understandably over the last year. This is, again, I see everything as a gift. This is your opportunity to look at those and to heal. I love that, Claire. That you have an opportunity to look at that and to heal it. So this is where we come to the next level of money. It's like, what do you believe to be possible with money? What's your relationship like with money? Do you believe that money likes you, wants to be there for you? Do you believe there's a limited amount of money? Do you have a lack and scarcity mindset where you're constantly worried about the next amount of money coming in? How are you going to start this new start for yourself and your business as we come into the almost the dawning of a new age after everything we've been through? How are you going to approach that in terms of your attitude towards money? What are you going to decide it gets to be for you? And this is another thing I really want you to look at, is what is my relationship like with money? How, if it was a person, how would I view it? How would I be having a relationship with it? Would it be somebody that I find menacing? Is it somebody that I take for granted? Is it somebody who I fear? Is it somebody that I feel comfortable with? I want you to really get into the details of, I'll pop the name of the book. What I'll do is I'll give you a mini reading list, because I know a lot of you are asking, and perhaps Sophie can email it round to all of you, and I'll give you some pointers in terms of money, mindset, energy work, working through fear. I'll give you 4 or 5 books and you can pick whatever resonates with you, and I think that's going to help give you some foundational reading. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about what wounds, what triggers, what's come up in relationship to money and the way I view myself over the last year, and what am I categorically not available for in terms of stories or views about myself and money as I move forwards. And the interesting thing is that when I look at myself when I worked in the corporate world, and I look at myself now with the business I have a completely different belief system. I have a different way of viewing money. I have a different relationship with money. I have a different thought system around what's possible for me. But that didn't just happen overnight. That was about me consciously choosing it every single day. So what stories are you going to commit to and choose that are going to enable you to grow your business this year? And this is where I want to take it and push you slightly further on this. I want you, or when I say journal, write, see what comes up, I want you to write and think about this question. How good can it get for you this year? What if it got really good? What would that look like? What would it feel like? What kind of things would be happening in your business? I want you to list it all out. How good could this get? Like, if I had a magic genie in front of me that was granting anything that felt good to me, what would it be? And I want you to sit there and write it, because a lot of your energy feels to me like it's kind of, it will have gone in and it will be very much like, I just need to survive and get through this. What I want to do now on this call is I want to open that energy out and say, well, okay, well, what if I went the other way? What if I really expanded into anything's possible? Do you have a team? Do you have premises? Are you working with a certain kind of clients? Have you got a corporate contract? Are you finding that money's just flowing in out of nowhere? Are you more confident? Is word of mouth spreading about you? Is there incredible feedback about what you do? Have you upskilled and added another dimension to your business? Are you renowned for a certain bespoke treatment that you offer? What is it for you that's trying to come through for you? What is it that feels expansive and exciting, even if it's slightly scary, because that's always the ego talking? But what feels really, really good to you this year? And this is the energy I want you to get in, because this sets a longer ripple effect that will go out there, a ripple effect of opportunities opening up for you, different ways of you viewing things that could happen. And the last thing I want to say before I open it up to questions, and this is another thing that's been a game changer for so many clients I've worked with over the last year, is if you were coming at this next year from a place of service and a place of innovation, what would that look like for you? How can you be of service to those around you at the moment? How can you contribute to the greater good? How can you contribute to those around you? Because when you come at the energy of service, that's what gets reciprocated back. And I see incredible things in people's businesses. And I'm going to give you an example. I've got a client called Charlie from Fearless Flamingo, which is a brilliant illustration business. And she was creating a lot of her income from pop-up shops, from stores, and obviously everything was closing. And she did big fairs at Christmas, and she was panicking, like I think a lot of us. And I encouraged her to come at it from a place of innovation. Like, what is it that you feel people need? And she said, well, I've come up with this idea, but I don't really understand how that's going to bring in wealth or opportunities. And I said, you just got to honor the inspiration that's coming through, and it will lead somewhere. And she had the idea about these like free colouring pages where kids could write to their friends, almost like a virtual postcard. You could send in the post or you could email and they could colour them in at home. And she said, I've got 3 children, my kids love it. I think it'd be really great for people at home. And she did that and she put it out there. She had hundreds and hundreds of people download it. And from that, she's had this idea to do little postcard packs that you could send out, and then also to do almost like tree decorations that you could write a note on and then you could send to a loved one that you couldn't see at Christmas. Her business has grown exponentially over the last 8 months because she came at it from service. She came at it from a place of, what can I do to contribute to the greater good? And there's something in the energy of that. So I want you all to look at that as well. Right, I appreciate I've been going for 25 minutes and I could literally speak for hours on this topic, but I really wanted to open it up to questions. Please ask me about anything that's coming up for you, any blocks, anything with your mindset that you just don't think that you can move past, any fears, any blocks around money, and I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can. Okay, so Sophie, I don't know whether you can compile the questions for me. Or Sophie. Okay, charging what you're worth is something I struggle with. So I want you to look at this, Kelly, the story that sits beneath it. What story are you telling yourself about why you can't charge what you're worth? Why you're different from the other people who are charging what they're worth? What's the underlying belief that sits beneath it? Is it a belief that you don't feel that you're enough? Is it a belief that you have somehow told yourself you're in a story that you're inferior, you don't have as much value? And I want you to look at whatever it is and decide that you're done with it. Decide that you unsubscribe to it and be like, right, I am worthy, I am deserving, and I'm going to keep telling myself that every single day. And if I was operating from the belief that I am worthy and deserving, if I was operating from the energy of that person, what would she charge? How would she be showing up? And it's going to feel scary. It always does, because as we up level and as we expand and as we move from our triggers, you're going to have that fear come up where it's going to feel uncomfortable as you raise your prices. But you only have to do it once. And once you've done it once, you've energetically up leveled to the next level. So be prepared to feel a bit uncomfortable with it. But I want you to embody that woman who knows that she's enough, who knows she's worthy of charging what she wants to. And I want you to allow her to take the reins and ask her, what would you charge? What kind of people would you work with? What would you be saying yes to? What would you be saying no to? And I want you to go and operate from her. Okay, next question. Well, I love what you're talking about. How do we follow more of your work? Okay, so, oh, she's got brilliant. So Sophie's put my web address there. If you go onto my website, there's a free resource section. And I'd encourage you all to watch Overcoming the Big Fear, which is a 3-day free event I did. It's all free and you can go in and there's some really great insights in there. There's also the 5 inside secrets to growing your business, which is free as well. If you go in there, you're going to find loads of free programs you can work your way through and just absorb whatever you want. For those of you who are more spiritual and witchy, there's some amazing free meditations. There's loads in it. Okay, now's the time to put up prices. People forget what they were paying and are so grateful to have another service again. Yeah, and don't forget as well, you have so many people who want to support you. You have so many clients and people who want to support you. There's such an energy of that. I know that I have a beauty therapist who comes around, and I've just paid her up front for when we can get back to normal, because for me, I want to support her and I appreciate her. And there's going to be so many people with the energy of that. So allow yourself to receive from them. Okay, Holly May, I'm 21. I set my new business back up last year. I set very high standards and feel a lot of pressure to keep this up. That's why business has grown a lot faster and bigger than I expected. I want to overcome this pressure and just enjoy the experience. Do you know what I feel for you, Molly? I think it was Molly. I feel like it's caught in your breath. I feel like you just need to take a moment and allow yourself to breathe it in and allow yourself just to say, it's almost like you need to let your body catch up. It's like, all I have to do is breathe in a bit more receiving, breathe in a bit more expansion each and every day. It's funny, as our business grows and we become more successful, it's something that we really so want, but sometimes we can really struggle with the energy and the receiving of it. So what's helped me hugely as I've grown my business is to take a moment each day just to breathe and to be able to just say, all I've got to do is receive and breathe in just a little bit more today, a few more clients, a few more opportunities, a bit more money, and that's really going to help you. Right, the books I'll work with the team on, and yeah, I don't know how we want to distribute that, but I'll sort that out.
I'm sure we've got all the details of everyone who's been on this, so we can circulate something off. There are a couple of questions also on the Q&A chat as well. If we've got those.
Okay, right. So Leanne, do you recommend having a life coach for accountability? I do recommend having a coach. Not just for accountability, but for you to see things and yourself in a different way. And for any of you that are thinking about getting a coach, what I'd say to all of you is make sure that you are having conversations with them beforehand and making sure that you're clicking. There's a lot of coaches out there, and the really important thing is that you feel that there's something in your soul that's just clicking with them and that they're the right person. And also being really clear on what it is, because a really good coach is going to look beyond your business and look at all areas. So, right, that's the first one. Veronica, how do you go about finding motivation when you have none? Veronica, I think for you, that it's because of the stories you're telling yourselves, where you're telling yourself, and the thoughts that you're entertaining. I want you to really get in there and say, why do I feel so unmotivated? What's the fear behind it? I often find with lack of motivation, it's a fear of failure that sits behind it. So look at that. What do I fear not working? Sometimes when we stay in the energy of unmotivated, it's protective. We don't have to put ourselves out there and move forward. So I really want you to look at the fears that sit behind that. And I'll do my best to get. Can we overrun just slightly, Emily? Or
Sophie, can we overrun? I mean, there's so much good stuff here. Caroline, are you okay?
I'm happy to overrun.
It's fine. Caroline, this is absolute gold and loving it.
It's golden. It's really golden. I knew you were going to be golden. Brilliant.
Okay, so let's keep going because I want to help as many as I can. Okay, I want to open a training school and really want to move my business in another direction, but I have a fear of leaving what I know behind, and as a single parent worry about money all the time. Okay, let me just feel into this for you. Okay, you spent a lot of time in the energy of what could go wrong and of playing it small. I want you to spend some time in the energy of, but what if this does work? What if I can do this? Jackie, if you've already built a successful training school, you know you can do it again. This is just the next level. There's a brilliant book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, which is all about all of us hit an upper limit. All of us have a level that we get to, and then our ego freaks out and says, no more. That's all that's happened to you. You've hit your upper limit. So you need now to look at that and say, okay, what new stories and new beliefs do I need to lock in for myself now to move past this? And it comes down to this ultimately. You've got to back yourself. If you've done it before, you can do it again. So what is it going to take for you to back yourself? And you know that you're innovative, you know you've done it before, you know you're an entrepreneur, you'll always find a way. So that's what I want you to do. It's the energy of looking over here and thinking, but what if it goes wrong? Or what if I make the wrong decision? to, but what if I always make the right decision? And what if this works? And what if this feels right? And where intuitively am I being led to in terms of taking the next step from there? And I'd work there. And I'd look at the money thing as well with those books I recommended.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Julie, we're good. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, okay. So Sarah, simple, I'm enough. I value and accept myself just as I am. You don't feel like you're deserving of what's coming in. So I really want you to lock in that belief, I am enough. Even if you're dealing with your own trauma, can you still be a good therapist? Yeah, I think you can be a better one because of it. It's part of your journey. And I think you're probably likely to attract people that you can offer your empathy towards, you can offer your experiences with. So don't see it as something that holds you back. See it as something that complements who you are and what you're offering. Are we good for more questions? I know they're still coming in. I'm happy to keep going. You just let me know when it's okay, cool.
Can I say about the lady who wanted to do the training school? Can I just say, before today, I've never done a Zoom festival before. Never done anything like this. And we kind of was like, we want to do it. We could visualize how we want it to be. And yes, we did slightly shit ourselves along the way, but we've got here and we're now doing it. And now we're able to help all of you guys. So you can absolutely do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, I pass back to you, Caroline.
And I love that, because I think, you know, when that fear creeps up and that feeling of discomfort, what I've come to realize now is I'm kind of onto something. Our ego doesn't tend to freak out unless we're about to do something expansive. So don't see it as something that I can only move forwards in the absence of fear. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to move forwards despite the fear. Watch that training I did on fear. It's going to help you hugely. Lauren, do you think being too emotionally invested is bad? I have a real passion for what I do, but keep getting stuck and demotivated. Why have you made the link there? It feels to me, Lauren, the energy that you're putting out there is, I'm doing this intuitively, is the energy of over giving, I think is what you mean. You need to have better boundaries around this. This is something that's coming through for you. I want you to think about your boundaries around the way that you work with your business, the way that you work with your clients, because you have the ability to grow your business and to do the work that you want to do, but you also get to do that without being energetically drained. I see this a lot with people who do work that's with others. We feel like we have to energetically give people everything in order to be worthy of receiving the money and the opportunities back. It's simply not true. And actually, you're going to be much more of service to people if you're replenished and full. So I really want you to look at your boundaries around your business and people and almost sit and write them, lock them in, and then move forward from that place. That's going to help with that reticence that you're feeling to move forwards.
Amazing. I think that's everything. That was amazing. Caroline, I'm feeling like there are moments there where like, gosh, you really touched me. I mean, like, that was really incredible. I think we have now got till the 12th of April. There are going to be loads of bookings coming in, guys, which is really exciting. But I do think we all need to take a little bit of time. Caroline, you've got some amazing training that's free, which is amazing. I'm going to be doing it myself. I cannot thank you enough for that. I feel totally emotional, as in you're so spot on everything. What I will do is, there are lots of you here. I think we've got everyone who registered on this. Should we put together an email and then we can email all of you with some of the books, and then again links to your website, so that then everyone can sort of follow up after this? Yeah.
I'll send all that to Sophie, and thank you so much for having me, and what a wonderful thing for you to do, Emily. I think you're absolutely brilliant. Lots of people in the world like you, so thank you. Lots of good luck, everybody. Right, see you later.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.